Hey, it's me again. Pretty quick, same day. Yeah. So if you hear some music in the background, hopefully it's not like licensed music or whatever the phrase is. I'm at the youth center. My eldest is hanging out with some teens at a church, playing basketball, eating pizza. And it doesn't make sense to drive home. Oh my gosh, that's going to be so annoying. I can already tell. I've downloaded some meditations, as a matter of fact, which is the topic of this episode, actually. But yeah, I'm not even going to be able to handle that. So let's see. How do I turn the notifications off? Hopefully, this is Nope. Oop. There we go. Boop. Nice. Media off. Notification off. I shouldn't really be getting calls on this phone. Got a business phone. So, downloading meditations because my sister friend Shay has an app. It's called Her Pocket Coach. And right now I'm looking at it on the Android, and so she had some developmental issues with it prior, unbeknownst to her, because I shared it with all of my friends, single women, to try it out, only for it to have some issues. So that was very frustrating for everyone involved. And so they're trying to launch it this week, and they're finding all the different little stuff. But anyway, she's got meditations as part of it, and I feel like one of my real experience, my dive into the meditation space. I mean, on a bigger scale, I should say, was doing some Dr. Joe Dispenza work, which, yeah, I guess I could talk about that. I have some notes somewhere, so I might be able to find that too. Oh, and looky here. I forgot to say my intro. What if being unapologetically me is exactly what sets someone else free? I am your host of Unapologetically Yours, Melinda, and I'm so happy to be here with you. There we go. Longest intro ever. Okay, so I'm going to be looking up some notes, I think, on the Joe Dispenza stuff, and then the thing that I wanted to share was a beautiful experience I had with a woman named Audrey. And I have worked with Audrey a few times. I say work with, what do I mean by that? In the spiritual. Oh, you heard that too. That's my other phone making noises. Okay, that's off. It's off, except some people, as you guys know, can still get through. So, all right. Audrey, she does a number of things, but one of the things that she does is Reiki. And so I've worked with her in that capacity, which was amazing. And I've done meditations with her, again, also amazing. And I wanted to share a particular meditation experience I had with her, which was lovely. And it's also, here we go, I found the notes from August 9th. Okay, so, all right, y'all. Okay, so, I hope this blanket, so I'm in the driver's seat of my my sucker mom car, my minivan. A blanket's in my lap, and the computer's on top of that against the steering wheel. And I am close to this building, and they've got the bass booming. And so hopefully that's not annoying, because I just don't feel like moving. But if it gets too much for me, then I'll move. Okay, so Audrey, she had me do this really amazing meditation. And so it was a guided meditation. So she's kind of like explaining even what I'm seeing, right? And oh man, I love her. I love her and I miss her. I actually called her like moments before I started this because I really wanted to connect with her. So and she did not answer. I think she's in Hawaii right now. So anyway, what she had me do, I'm not going to tell you like the intro, just in case somehow like you get to work with her, right? Like I would welcome that. I wish there was like an easy way just to connect, like if she had a website or something. Audrey, if you were listening to this stuff, baby girl, send me your info, right? Yeah, okay, so she takes me through this thing, and then so I'm walking and I'm going down a corridor, and there are doors along the corridor, and each door represents me at a different age. And so the first door, I walk in and I see myself. Now, I was like in my early 40s, I feel like, when this happened, which may have been before the Dr. Joe retreats. I don't quite remember. But, so I walk in, and the assignment was I was to go to myself and say something like, I love you, and you have everything that you need. Okay? And so then I walked out, and I went to the next door, and it would be 5-year-old me. And I would go in, and I would kiss my 5-year-old self and say, I love you. You have everything you need, etc. Right? And so there was a fluctuation of, age, meaning it could be a potential range. So there was a couple things that were interesting. And I think I might cry. Oh my gosh. It is so beautiful. Okay, so when I was around the 20 age marker, she had me go in and hug myself from behind and say, I love you, you have everything you need. And why am I getting choked up? Because I had this spiritual experience when I was about 18, right? 19, right in there. I was going to college in Georgia, and at that time, I had been dating someone. Gosh, I can't even think of his name. I was dating this guy, right? He was the RA, resident assistant, or whatever they call them in college, right? And we hung out, and all we did was kiss, okay? I wasn't doing the other stuff. So he broke up with me, because I wasn't doing the other stuff, and he wound up like going back to his other girlfriend. And the thing is, people assumed that we were, because I was going into his room, and he may have even been saying that I was, but I wasn't. And so yeah, he broke up with me, and it was very painful, man. So I was devastated, and I walked out. I walked out, on campus, and there was this field. And there was a set of bleachers in the middle of the field, and so I just got on the top set of bleachers, and I had a Walkman. I think it was Iowa, AIWA, I think, whatever that brand used to be, and I had a cassette tape. So this is the late 90s, y'all, cassettes, okay? But my thing was awesome because it had like an automatic repeat. You could repeat songs. And then it also like automatically switched the side, so I didn't have to like eject the tape, and put it back in there. So it was sophisticated. And so I'm listening to a song over and over and over again. It became one of my favorites. It's Yolanda Adams. So it's a Christian song, so good, called Through the Storm. And I'm going to actually pull up lyrics. Let's see. Through the Storm, Yolanda Adams. Boom. All right. And there's the chorus. So good. Okay, so should I read you the whole thing? All right, so I'm gonna just do the chorus part. Oh no, you know what? I'm gonna start from the beginning. The storms of life will blow, they're sure to come and go. They meet me all at a time when I'm calm and doing fine. But the captain of my soul, he's always on board. He rocks me in his arms while riding through the storm. While riding through the storm, Jesus holds me in his arms. I am not afraid of the stormy winds and the waves. Though the tides become high, he holds me while I ride. I found safety in his arms while riding through the storm. And then, it just escalates, right? Crescendos. I'm not going to even do it, y'all. I'm not going to sing because I can't. I have no fear of the raging seas, knowing Jesus is there with me. He can speak to the wind and the waves and make them behave. All power's in his hands, on sea or dry land. I found safety in the Master's arms while riding through the storm. And then I'm so tempted, while riding through the storms, Jesus holds me in his arms. Okay, no, I'm not afraid of the stormy wind and the waves. Though the tides become high, he holds me while I ride. I find safety in the Master's arms while riding through the storm. So I'm listening to that song and I am alone on a field by myself. And then I feel arms wrap around me, which just has me crying even more, on the day that this was. And I absolutely felt like I was being held, by God or by an angel. And this is a significant point in my life that stayed with me, and just was a big thing later about me pursuing Christianity, or becoming a Christian, and because of having this metaphysical experience, it's just so beautiful. So I don't say any of this to Audrey, but in that moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, and I got emotional because what if I crossed timelines, right? Quantum physics stuff. And what if it wasn't God's angel? What if it was me? Right? And that might sound too crazy for some of y'all. And some of y'all might try to like get, the orderlies in the white suits with the injection syringe to come lock me up and put me in a padded room. Don't y'all do that to me. So anyway, it was so powerful, right? Oh, so good. So good. It was just this beautiful thought, And like, it was already beautiful, of like, it's an angel, comforting me. It was, I, there, I was being held, and there was no evidence, right? And, so it was like so powerful. So then, I go to my 25-year-old self, 30-year-old self, 35-year-old self, and then she has me go to the next door. But this took her off guard too, because she's guiding me and she's kind of telling me, walk into the room, tell yourself. She tells me what to say every single time. So, I love you. I might have been, you're perfect just the way you are. You have everything that you need, right? Inside of you. You have everything you need inside of you. I love you. You have everything you need inside of you. But when we got to the 40-year-old door, I opened it up. The other self, the version of me on the other side of the door, opened the door to me. And she has done this meditation with people, and that had never happened before. And I said, hey, I've been waiting for you. What have you got to tell me? And that also was beautiful and moving. And it sounded just like me. Like, I'm ready. Give me the info. Help me. Help me. So wonderful. It was so nice. And I think it might have been the same day. I'm still laughing that I kind of sung. There was some other part of, and it could have been a different day, it doesn't matter. It was a meditation where so my eyes are closed during this whole time, right? And then, she does this rose garden thing. Oh, so cool. So it's like, you're in your home, right? And then you have your eyes closed, and you leave your physical body, and you just sort of like step into the spiritual body, if you will. And then you walk out your door, and then on the other side, the door is like golden, and then you're stepping into her rose garden. And you imagine it. She describes it, but you imagine it as you see. I did a lot of meditations with her there in that space. Some of it was being introduced to my highest self, right? And then also connecting with others, their highest self. Speaking to them in love, even when it's an enemy, because the highest self, the highest version, right? The highest self version wants, peace and unity and all those kinds of things. Then we did stuff. Usually it was just always started with the garden. And on this one particular case, like she was like, oh, you see a flower. So like, I imagine what the flower looked like. But interestingly, like, I had this like overlapping vision of a spider. It was very hard to describe. I'm not going to do it justice. And so I wound up telling her about it, and she told me some kind of like meaning for it, it was pretty cool. I don't like spiders, man. I just really don't. Although the last daddy long legs, even though they kill mosquitoes, I did ask my husband to just take it outside instead of killing it. But usually if they're in my home, and I am there and they're near me, I will kill it, and I usually will be screaming, and I'm so sorry to all the Buddhists and whatever stuff, people who have a problem with that. Forgive me, forgive my sin of my past. Anyway, I'm usually screaming, and I'm also saying sorry simultaneously. I'm sorry. It's like either you or me. I have gotten bit by spiders before. It is not fun. It ain't pretty. No, thank you. And I've got some mature trees, and they have like the wolf spiders. They're so awful, and they're so fast, and like they're the same color of the carpet, and they're just okay. I did this other thing. Okay, I'm gonna. Um, I did this other thing. So it was a sound bath, right? Ugh, I miss you, girl. Christina the light worker. Come on. She would do these community sound baths, and sometimes she would have these cards, and you can pull a card, and it was always like so on point, amazing. And one of the times I pulled a card, and it was a spider. Matter of fact, I have got a picture. uh, I'm laughing at my own self. I got a picture of the card. Boom. May 27, 2022. I pulled the spider card. Um, and it's beautiful. So it's like a white spider, but it's on a web, and the web is like all colorful, like, you know, colors of the rainbow. And it basically meant something to me at the time. All right, so May 27, 2022. I love this feature. When you go into photos, if you have an iPhone, you can just like type in a word that describes a picture you're looking for. Or, like, let's say, type in a word because you know what you're looking for, which could be a screenshot, has that word on it. But now that I've done that, now I gotta go, because what I'm hoping is going to happen is that I have the other information with it. Okay, so I gotta go to 2022. So anyway, when I saw that card, even though, again, like, I'm not like a spider lover, I was like, okay, but this is different, right? And what do I imagine here? I imagine that the spider, they're creative, right? They make these intricate designs and, just beautiful webs. And I'm creative, you know. I am scrolling as I'm talking, trying to fill the space. In August of 2022, June, okay, May. All right, let's see here. So Michelle, my BFF, my best friend, was there with me, and she wound up pulling two cards. They were kind of stuck together, and when I tell you, like, it was absolutely meant for her. It was meant for her. Okay, so now I got to the date range. And I'm looking. Wait, did I say May 20th? No, that's May 7th. My bad. I went to May 22nd, but it's 2022. So, more scrolls, more scrolls. May 3rd. Alright. Oh, my baby. My Kalel, he had to have stitches in his upper lip. I just came across a picture. We put a band-aid over it, but my husband or somebody cut it out in the shape of a handlebar mustache, because my husband, sometimes when he grows out that area, he has been known to do the handlebar. All right, so scrolling, I'm seeing pictures of my baby girl. She's just a few weeks old, and a hand of cards, whatever I was playing. All right, come on, May 7th. May 7th. Come on. I did say May 7th, right, y'all? Come on, 7:20 p.m. Daviana was over. This is not really making... Didn't I say May 7th? Oh my goodness. Alright, let's try that again. Spider. I typed in spooter. Alright. May 27th. Lord have mercy. Alright, May 27th. Alright. What if I just say May 27th, 2022? Now I'm typing that in to see. Aha, I'm so smart. Dang it, I'm so smart. Okay, boop. Here is what the information is on the card, okay? The spider card. So, creator of prosperity through life's work, Dharma. The spider is an ingenious creator. Its greatest gift is weaving the thread of Dharma into a vast, intricate web that supports the spider and those around it, both financially and spiritually. It is hard work, but the spider neither tires nor becomes impatient. This card reminds us creativity is everywhere. Be process oriented rather than results oriented, and soon your work becomes like the weaving of a magical, priceless tapestry. Abundance follows. So it says, when in balance, appreciative, enthusiastic, prosperous. When out of balance, discouraged, tired, forlorn. To bring into balance, playful creativity. And so that's what that is. So that's pretty cool. And then Michelle pulled the lion. Maybe she only pulled one card. I only have one picture of it. Maybe I just didn't take any others. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Excuse me, I have several of those pictures because I did several of those sound bath things, which was so incredible. Okay, so I told you about Audrey and doing meditations. I told you about the spider, which then reminded me of the sound bath thing. And I told you about the meditation with the ages. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Okay, so now that was 22. So the following year, 2023, April 17th to be exactly precise, I went to Nashville. And my friend Shay, my sister friend, my sis from another miss, Mr., sister from another Mr. Anyway, that was confusing to somebody out there. That might have been confusing. Okay, so she had introduced me to Dr. Joe Dispenza's work some years prior, and he was having a week long. So I went there in April, and it was the first time I was leaving my daughter. She was a year and 2 days when I left, and my cousin Isha came. Thank you, and loved up on my babies, all my kids, and she was so encouraging to me, Isha. And it was hard for me to leave. This is the first of now what has been several trips, and it was just a really beautiful way to leave, to have my kids in the best possible care with my husband and my cousin, and to know that they were safe, but also for her, because I started to have doubts about whether or not I should go, whether I should pull myself away from my kids. The mom guilt. Ugh, mom guilt is so real, and it's so yuck. And it's just, no matter what, like, you could do something really good, and then you still are guilty. Feel guilty about it. You do something bad, and you feel really guilty about it. Or the bad that you do was the best that you could have done. And so bad. So she encouraged me that I needed to go, and in doing so, it would be helping my children as I was healing, right? And it was so true. And so, anyway, I'm looking at my notes. So now I'm reading, and I am not gonna say this stuff the way that it is. I think what I did is, like, I put some stuff through ChatGPT, so like I explained that. And okay, so I'm just gonna stop for just like another second to say that I recognize that I'm saying a lot of ums. But what I want you to know is that I joined Toastmasters. I think I may have already said this before. We've only had a couple meetings. And that's going to get better, y'all. It's going to get better. So, all right. So this is August. This is over a month ago that I kind of wrote this stuff. So Shay is a superstar. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to say the hows and the why. Some of y'all know because I used to go around, oh, this is my friend Shay, and this is what she did. It's so magical. And it is magical. She's magical. But there's a whole movie. And it's also on YouTube. I think it's probably still there. So Shay, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Shay Transformation Story, or Stories. But then also he has this film out there. It's called The Source, or it's called Source. And she's in it. Her story's in it. So I'll let y'all look that up. So Dr. Joe, one of the things that he does is demystify the supernatural. Okay? And so he anchors the teachings, I'm reading now, it's probably obvious, in neuroscience, quantum physics, and measurable transformations instead of spiritual dogma. So I am going to explain this, but to me, I love going there, and I am about inclusivity. I want to include other people. I'm not elitist, although I will not mind when I'm in, my friend's jet. Or maybe I have a jet. I'm so good. You look great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you are very welcome. Can I get a hug?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It's so good to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to see you too.
Y'all doing well?
We are. We are.
Got a school going.
Yes, in a
Everybody's...
rhythm. Finally got the kids to school on time. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Because kids are... I know.
Yeah.
Oh. So one day you won't have to do that.
Yes, that will. Yeah,
That'll be over and done. but
Yep.
Keep going.
Yes.
Keep going. Oh, well, good. Well, good to see you too. Have a great rest of the night.
You too. Okay. All right. Where was I? Okay. So I was talking about being inclusive, right? That is important. It is important to me. So anyway, what's here is this inclusive, non-religious language invites everyone, regardless of belief system, to experience possibility without being divided. Okay, so on that note, I want to explain. People of all sorts of backgrounds come to his events. Religious, non-religious, I would say even every socioeconomic, background or circumstance. The events are held typically at a hotel. You're in a ballroom, and so your ticket gets you the event experience with 2 meals per day, but you have to pay for your lodgings, which could either be at the hotel or be, use an Airbnb or stay at a friend's or a relative's house kind of thing. They do offer scholarships for people so people can apply, and then sometimes people are gifted an event, by someone who's gone to an event and they're like, oh, I just need to help so-and-so. And, they'll pay for everything. So that's that. So there are people who believe in God. There are people who are Buddhists. There are people who are agnostics and atheists and, whatever. People who are into crystals and essential oils, and people who are doctors, PhD or doctor, education, laymen, laborers, housewives. I fall into a few of those things, but the last one, housewife. And he likely will say Jesus. He might even quote Jesus or say mention like a Bible verse, and he might say God, like one or two times. And he also uses other language that other people are familiar with or comfortable with. And I, even as a person who, considered myself a Christian, and that's another episode. I think I've hinted at that before. I had this epiphany. I had an epiphany that I'm not going to talk about right now. And it's kind of even linked to the message earlier, my episode earlier. But again, I'm not going to go there. So the point though for me is, like, I love it because I want everybody to receive it. And I personally, being in church, have had a lot of church hurt. And church, or the people running church, or the people in church, there have been so many agendas by, if you will, the church, right? For thousands of years, and it has really hurt people. Okay. There are cults, the whole nine, the whole nine. So to me, if somebody wants to name God, the universe, like, what does it matter to me? It doesn't. I don't care. Now, for me, it's like, oh, well, he created the universe, or, okay, he is the universe. I remember years ago when The Secret came out, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And there were Christians, in my peer group who were like so anti that, because there were other people who were speaking who basically, in essence or in their belief, they didn't believe in God, and they kept just saying the universe or the source. And I'm like, well, God is the source of all things. Hello, and so, like, again, what does it matter what you name it? So some people get uptight, or some people, that has a negative connotation. So some people are, how about, I can even say they have a boundary, you know what I mean? Or they have an expectation, they have a standard, that they want to call God only, God. And you can't say anything else, even though, what in the Bible, what does he say? Like, there's so many names, right? Alpha, Omega. And don't even let me go there. I'm not even go there. But I'm thinking of you. You know who you are. Sometimes I have a conversation with a woman who's a special, beautiful person, and we'll feed off of each other. Talking about the names of God and the won't he do it kind of things, which I really thoroughly enjoy. And for complicated reasons, I'm not going to touch in on that. So I'm okay with people even not believing in God. Like, do you, boo? Like, I also hope that God is revealed through me and my love, right? But I am no longer living to evangelize the world, and that's, again, another episode. So I talked to some Christian friends of mine, one in particular who, I don't know, seemed kind of upset. A couple of people, well, why doesn't he should just say it's God. No, he doesn't need to should have nothing. And sometimes God's message has to get out in the language that the people who are there, the audience, needs to receive it. You're already good. You're already saved. You already know. Let other people find him in their path, their journey, etc. That's my take. So I love it because, again, I want everybody to have this information. And so the information is, it's like quantum physics. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's your thoughts create reality. It's proof. It's science. It's neuroscience. It's scientists on stage, and they're, talking about how they couldn't believe the data and all the ways that they tried to disprove the data, but you can't because it's repeatable. And in the Dr. Joe community, there's, thousands of us, and, I don't know, tens of thousands maybe? I don't know. I mean, he goes all over the world. So, like, he has events, I don't know, was it Spain? Somewhere's like 8,000 people. I totally want to do that. So, the ones that I've gone to, I think the largest was about 2,400 people, which is also amazing. And so, I'm there. I'm in Nashville. And the first couple of days, we're learning. So there's a lot of people who go a lot of times. Like, it's kind of like you go once and you're either fall in love with it and just have to come back a whole bunch of times, or you're one and done. And the one and done could be, that was extraordinary and I never have to do it again because I did it. Yeah. And I guess there's people maybe who, for whatever reason, don't like it or scared of it, or I don't know. There's like all these Facebook groups, and people are having a hard time with their Kundalini opening up. I don't even know what that is, but people are having like real crazy experiences, and it's challenging their nervous system or their understandings. I don't know. I love it. I recommend it. And my hope had been that I would go every year. And what I did do is I went 3 times in 1 year, 2022. And so, which was awesome. So I did the week long in Nashville. I did a follow-up in Marco Island, and an advanced follow-up. They call it AFU. It's like 3 days, and it's an intensive. And so you learn more, and it's just like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. Oh, I love it. And then I did another week long with my husband and my cousin in November in Orlando. So it was amazing. It was amazing. And right now, actually, my heart, oh my God, my heart, like I feel it like my heart energy center, if you will, or heart chakra. It's like there's a way to say it, and everyone mostly says it wrong. So anyway, I tried to say it the one time, possibly the correct way. I don't know. Anyway, it's just spinning right now and swirling, which is a new thing. Oh, that's new. And that's since my Tony Robbins event, when I really tapped into my power. Yeah. Did I already talk to y'all about that? How I just inspired and encouraged. Oh, you know what it was? It was in my Dear Self episode. So if you haven't heard that one, I recommend it. And so I geek out over quantum physics and stuff, and I feel like I'm in this space where I'm lit up on the inside. So that's what's going on. So the first few days, you're pulling, like the whole room is if you imagine going into a space. Anyway, it's a lot of information. And then with that information, you're repeating it to the person next to you. And then you're hearing it again as they repeat it to you, like their understanding. And then you do all these different meditations. You're laying down, like you bring yoga mats and your pillow and your blanket or a sheet from the hotel. You do sitting down, where you're sitting up rigid. He does his breath work stuff that's really incredible, especially if you ping that pineal gland or pineal gland, however you want to say it. Woo! And then you do walking meditations, okay? And then there's this whole coherent healing thing that is just, it's so beautiful. And in April, I was there, and there were two people who spoke, and they were part of the Healy group. So you've got the Healys, the people who are there hoping for healing. And then you've got the healers, which is everybody else who, once they have all this information and once they tap into the field and, are just pouring all of their hearts and energy and soul and love out, there's this energy that fills the room and goes into the space where these people are, and there are physical changes that happen with people. And so those two powerful, well, as a matter of fact, I've got notes somewhere and I don't have it with me. Maybe I'll touch back on this. Y'all let me know if you want me to do that. Like, make a comment. Just really incredible stuff. And so, too, when you like experience just, there's this joy and there's this, I hesitate to use this other word that starts with an E and ends with a Y, but when you feel that, and when you're like vibing with people just like on a high vibration, and everybody comes for different reasons. Sometimes a spouse is dragging you there, or your best friend. So like I told my best friend, she needed to go. She needed to take her sons with her, and she did, and they did, and it was amazing. And is a pivotal changing point. Like, ooh, and yeah, there's all, sometimes people go because they're wanting to manifest or, live abundantly, in the form of money or health, or some people go because they want healing because they have ALS or any other thing that, and like science backs it all up. And there are studies, peer-reviewed, all of the stuff about meditation and being in this meditative space. And so they published, I think, I might have been in Orlando when, like, at that point, it had already been released. I feel like I was physically at an event where they showed the paperwork, the correlation with meditation and coronavirus. Fighting it, preventing it. And there's been so much done. And so like this group, right, of tens of thousands of people, okay, all of us, a lot of times, they're studying us. So what I mean by that, there are groups of people who volunteer as well to give the blood, saliva samples, etc., right? And then they monitor your heart rate, they monitor your brain activity during the event, during some of the meditations, walking, laying down, etc. I was a happy participant, and actually in April they were talking about doing all these different studies, right? And they mentioned they want to do a milk study. So at the first break, I ran to the back and spoke to the group of people there, and I'm like, can I donate my milk? Like, I brought my breast pump with me, and so I was able to donate. So I can't wait to see that study and the correlation of children, babies, with women who are getting into that meditative space, like what that does, the power, like breast milk already is so powerful in healing. Like, literally put it on your child's baby rash, which I've done, and it healed it up. But after I feel like it was after I came back from my Marco Island one, I had twice as much, of the meditation, like just gobs and gobs of hours of meditation. And when I came home, my daughter had a super bad rash, like I'd never seen one that bad, and I put my breast milk on it, and I feel like, let's just say it was the evening when she woke up it was gone, literally, absolutely gone. Not just healing, but totally just not there. So powerful. And you know, like, oh, the milk is even more powerful when you get into these elevated states, right? So I'm imagining some of you thinking I am cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Sometimes I am, but that is not what this is. So that was a great time, great experience. And let's see, now I'm back to my notes. I was gonna go do this whole thing on this, I see. Yeah, because it was gonna be mostly, I was gonna do a whole segment on Dr. Joe Dispenza. So now I'm still looking at my things. All right. All right, let's see. I did talk about your thoughts create reality. And so at my first event, I'm going to say this too. All right, at my first event, I went there and there had been a lot of shifts that had a lot of changes that were occurring in my life. I mean, I have a baby, right? There was some spiritual stuff as well, which I don't really want to get into some of it because it's not necessarily my story, even though it's part of my story. So I'll stick to me. There was a person that I am trying to figure out how to best say this. Just real, right? Like it does, and it's okay if it's raw, right? Like it's just unfiltered. I stopped going to church around this time. And the thing of the matter is, and there's some okay. There's so much. So I talked about church hurt earlier, right? And that is another episode. It truly is. And what I want to say is there were issues, okay? And then COVID, right? And during COVID, everybody was home, right? And everybody had their laptops, and their computers and their iPhones and their Facebook accounts. And then everybody was blasting and posting stuff, right? And they were revealing themselves. Everybody just had more time. And now I was already home because I was homeschooling my eldest at the time. And then, I don't know, my son was born 2018. So he's kind of considered like COVID baby. Anyway, I feel like I'm not even going to talk about that. So, some people were just showing themselves, right? Even to the tune of one of the guys who used to be in the church and preaching spoke about if he would have seen some of these Facebook accounts and messages, he may not have been at the church, kind of thing. I feel like that's what it was. Or he would have doubted that person's whatever. I think it's the former thing that I said. So, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, all of that stuff's going on. And then I think throw in Kyle Rittenhouse, and there's this guy from church who, man, he must be retired. I think this guy is retired. He's got all the time in the world, and so he posts so many things every day. And it's Bible verses, and then it's something about guns and something about Trump and Bible verses, and then there's a particular thing that he likes, a genre that exists, and then there's that stuff, right? And then, but it's super political, super right, um, conservative, but like white is right, kind of conservative, I don't know if he would, be like a good old boy, but, he wears the 1776 t-shirts. Like, I don't like it. If y'all know what that means, Mm-hmm. And so he's posting all these things, and, oh, I had to unfollow him. And I was in therapy, thank the Lord. And she helped me to see that all of this rage and anger that I had wasn't about him, towards him specifically, but he was upsetting me. And when church opened back up, there were people who were getting sick. And so churches all over America, right? The world, but America, they were opening up, and then people would come into church and they'd get sick, and all these people were dying, all this stuff. I wasn't afraid or scared about that piece, but it was like it helped me not to attend right away when church opened up. But really what it was is, how can I be on the same pew? Now, to be honest, like we were on separate sides of the rooms. Typically I would not be near him, just based on when I came in, when he came in, whatever. But I did not want to be in the same space. Like, I didn't feel safe. I felt, and I shared this with friends who I could confide in and who I could just be honest and real with and vulnerable with, that if this person saw me on the side of the road pulled over by a police officer, even though I'm his, quote, sister in the Lord, he'd be thinking, because I too was on Facebook, and I too was vocal, and I too, in February, the shortest month of the year, that they give black folks, African American History Month, I was blackety black on Facebook, right? Which is upsetting to some people. And so I felt like if he saw me pulled over, he would be just salivating at the mouth and gleeful. Oh, she gets what she deserves. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't feel safe. Now, there were other things that had built up over the years. Again, church hurt. But this was a deep wound of like 2020s church hurt, like in the now, you're learning that this person, the only black people he likes, that it seems to be clear that he likes, could be people in the genre, right? In his favorite genre, but also the black political right-wing political people. Okay? So like there's tons of that stuff on his Facebook page, for example. And like every now and again I'd open up my Facebook, and this is maybe before I blocked, and I'm like, is he still this way? Yep. Okay. And so I just saved my own self, blocked him, blocked the wife as well, and no part, right? And so then one day I wrote this post, and it was about, I love when they wave their flags, probably like the Confederate flag. And I did this whole thing, and like in the midst of it, it's so interesting. So my favorite book of the Bible is James, and then I have like the strong liking for King David, and how he would pour out, how he would rage, how he would cry out, how he would scream, and how he would beg, and how he would mourn, and then he would always come back to God. Okay, and so in the middle of writing this piece on Facebook, and I'm sure I use the word race. I love my racist bold. I love when they wave their flags, because I want, da 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 da. And I'm sure in the moment there was some self-righteousness there, right? And then I feel like the Holy Spirit totally took over, and it reminded me, kind of again, like King David. He starts off, oh, I look at the world and, it's just violence and it's just bad. Oh, but then I remember and I come into your courts and into the sanctuary, right? And so I had a come to God moment and God coming to me. And I was like, wait a second, I'm a sinner too. I am a sinner and I have fallen all the way down short, right? And I am not digestible for some people. You know what I mean? Not that he was even thinking about me or knew of me or was looking on my Facebook page or not, but I offend people and I rock the boat. And sometimes, sometimes some of it, maybe not politically, some of it is on purpose. I may have touched on this before as well. I think it's not, I can't think of the word, and I don't want to say the wrong word because it definitely has the wrong connotation. And I think I've talked about this in some other episode before. Like, I don't know what the word is. Like I've said, I'll ask a husband, newlyweds, oh, when are you going to knock your wife up? Not beat her up, but, get her pregnant, right? And so, like, sometimes I say this shocking things kind of thing. That's part of my makeup, whatever. Anyway, so when I was done with this, by the time I'm, like halfway through this post, and I'm seeing myself and I'm sharing myself and I'm realizing I don't have a stone to throw, and you know what? We'll both be in the sanctuary together before God, humble and sinners, just period, right? And so that helped, and I was able to start coming back to church. But I had a lot of fear during COVID times, and there's good people on both sides times. So afraid. Like I remember, and this was when I just had Kalel, so not even my daughter. I was so afraid to be taken away from my kids or my kid taken away from me. And, because of the color of my skin, like, I promise you, legitimate fear. And or I think around that time they were taking people's babies, okay, and then putting them into adoption. There's a whole freaking thing in Florida. I think I also talked about that before. I had to stop following all those accounts too. I couldn't hear those stories. I had to just focus on me and love me. And so anyway, so that there was that, right? And then I was, during COVID, all the people were putting all their, stuff online, churches and stuff. So I was getting a lot out of some of the sister churches, like, oh, so good. Like, it was just so good. And like, I preferred some of the other people over the people who were where I am. And I just felt like more spiritually fed. And I just, I had a friend who was sending me lots of stuff on YouTube, and I was like, oh man, like, whoo, like they like anointed people preaching. Like this was their jam. This was their purpose, for sure, in life. And some of that was missing. There was also a very long period of time where the music in the church that I went to was like so bad. It was so terribly bad. And I was embarrassed to bring people, because music usually, that's the thing that like gets people to come back, And so I even had a friend who would come to church late just so they wouldn't struggle, And then, then it was like, okay, well, it's not about me, and If I need to be fed some other kind of way, music, okay, listen to that on my own time, or the word, listen to that on my own time so I can come to church and give. But, at some point coming to the large group was so challenging and painful. My husband and I did some volunteer work, and so that kept us out of that piece. So that was great to, again, just to be a servant and to help. And then the part that was good for me is like the social. I get energized by being social. So, we would volunteer, so he'd miss everything. And Jacob would give me that time to go into the room and meet with all the people that I could see and hug and kiss and encourage. And so that was nice. And then we had house church groups. So based on where you lived, you went to a local group at someone's house. Sometimes you switch houses. And that group was amazing and phenomenal. And I felt at home and I felt safe and I could be me. But the me that I was being sometimes was salty and sassy. And then there was this one particular person, the one whose mom thinks that I think that her daughter walks on water. Just full of so much wisdom. But I would feel bad, like always calling her and like draining her, and so then I wound up talking to other people, and those people didn't have that same wisdom or the wherewithal, and I wound up unfortunately hurting and compromising them with information, that I had, or information, the struggles that I was having, not sin, but the thoughts and the concerns about stuff that was going on in church. And, my apologies and I'm sorry. So that was going on. And then, then the church leadership was doing stuff like, oh, we want everybody to be on the same page and everybody read this and let everybody study this. But our house church group had our own plan, which was good, and we had already finished a complete plan, which helped us. And then we were told, nope, don't do that, you can't do that, you have to do this about tithing, because not enough people were tithing, I guess. And so that was one of the largest last straws that I felt hurt me, on a spiritual level, going back to the old days of control. And that's not what we needed. And I was just so upset and, just hurt, but also raging. And so I asked my wise friend, can I please just go to house church and not big church? And she said no. Now, she wasn't the leader of the group, and it's probable that if I would have asked the leader of the group, that she would have said yes, or if I went to the leaders of the church, which I eventually did after the fact, that they would have said yes. But I asked her, and at some point she told me prior that I don't know how to take no for an answer, and I don't. I'm laughing, not as a thing that I'm proud of, but it's me. So, if someone, if I ask for something, because I'll ask, and they'll say no because. I'm like, okay, boom, I got the solution to your because, and then they give me 2 more becauses. And I had to have the solution for that. Because I didn't want to take no, because I want what I want, and I'm not saying that, oh, I deserve it automatically, or it's okay to not take no. Sometimes, hello, no is a complete sentence. It could be a complete sentence, but I'm also the type of person that needs to know the details in order to sometimes be okay with it, and life's not perfect, and I can't always have that. But I was for sure this time, I was going to take that no. But unfortunately, there were other pieces to the puzzle, which is if I'm not going, because my husband wasn't going for different reasons, then my kids are not going, and mom guilt, as well. I think am I gonna time out of this thing? Okay, no. So anyway, I left. And I did call leadership people and I told them what was going on. And there was a lot of understanding and grace being given to me as far as, under the recognition and the understanding, because so many people had left the church, over the years or whatever. There was this validation that was provided, which was nice, of sometimes you have to leave, to heal. Because sometimes you can't heal in the place that hurt you and broke you, right? So I'm very grateful for that. There was also some lawyerly, stuff, just kind of make sure you're not saying anything bad, right? And my friend asked, are you leaving well? Is there anything else? Like, is there... And then I realized I had this thing with this person. And so I was like, you know what? Let me make amends. And part of it is make amends. Let me make sure I am leaving right in accordance with this person, that I'm not holding on to bitterness towards this person. And so I tried to reach out to person who dodged me. And And the other piece of me leaving and wanting to talk to this person is because I had information, right? I had information for this person. I had witnessed things. I had been part of things that this person had been part of, and I had information. Now, what I want you to know is, just because you know something doesn't mean you're the person to tell the person or tell the group or whatever. Sometimes God, the source, the universe, right? Tuition, like whatever it is, because whatever. Sometimes it's just for you. It's just for you to know. And so I knew things, and I wanted to share some of these things with this person, because I also didn't want other people to hurt because of this person and because of the pattern that existed. But they were dodging me, and ironically wound up linking in this other person who's very well known and respected. And so then there was this possibility of meeting, and this is all right before my meditation trip. Do you see how it's all coming back? So it's April. And the person was like, oh, when you get back, let's schedule. Nope. Because I'm thinking, you ain't dodging me no more. And I was like, no, let's set it up now. We can set it up for when I get back, but let's set it up now, because I don't want to prolong this thing anymore, And so I wondered prior to getting on the plane to Nashville through ATL. I wondered, will I still want to have this meeting? And about halfway through, I got my answer. No. And it was about how your thoughts create reality. It was also about, and now that I'm about to say what I'm about to say, I'm wondering if I've done this before on one of these episodes, or if I was just thinking about doing it. All right, so you are a person, and I'm just going to repeat it. So if it's repeated, it's repeated. Just stick with me. So you're a person, and you're in the now, you're in today. You might be thinking about and worrying about something that might happen in the future, or something that you know for sure is going to happen, like you're for sure going to have a meeting with somebody, right? And you're imagining, based on how you feel about the other person and your presumption of how they feel about you, or what they've said that they feel about you, what they're going to say, and then you have this whole thing, you have this whole dialogue in your imagination that hasn't happened, and your body begins to react. Stress, whatever, breathing, heart rate, etc. Okay, that's an example. Now, come back to the now. Come back to the now, because it might not even go that way, and or the meeting might be canceled, or they might be, they might be humble and apologetic and own their stuff and ask for forgiveness. and then that meeting would be like totally fine. Okay. So now you're in the now, back with me. Come on back. You're in the now, and you remember something that happened to you when you were younger. And it is devastating. And you're thinking about it. And as you're thinking about it, you're remembering. And as you're remembering, your body is reacting to the memory, and your heart rate and your breathing, and your body is doing this because it does not know that you are in the now. You are safe. You are in a different place. You are no longer in that situation, right? Your thoughts create reality. And so, I have sublime notes, man. Like I was writing. Oh, such a great experience. So the thing is, I realized, wait a second now, because we expend, there's a saying, again, this may be on repeat, but I'm not going to apologize, right? Because I'm unapologetic where it matters. So there's this whole thing. It's today is a gift, right? So yesterday is history, the future is a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. And so the best thing that you could possibly do is be in the now moment, be in the present. So many of us can spend our now time, our gift time, worrying about it and obsessing over the past. And then all of our now time is gone because we're in the past. Or likewise, you're in the now and you're obsessing over the future and you're stressing over the future. And so you're spending your now time, and then where has the time gone? There's no more time. The day is over. And you didn't do anything with the gift that you had in the moment today, right now. And so I was like, wait a second. I got so much more time back in my life if I can be intentional about this. And so then I was like, okay, well, how do I want to spend my time? Who do I give my time to? Obviously, my inner circle, right? My household, my husband, my children, my friends and family, Who do I not give my attention to the person who's dodging me, to the person who doesn't respect me or my time, to the person who didn't respect the other people, and the things that they were going through and the patterns that they were part of? No, that person doesn't get my time. No, because also you gotta know who your audience is, right? Is this person going to receive this news, this information, this knowledge from me? No, they're not. They're not. So why would I waste my time with somebody who has wasted my time? Who has made me chase after them? No, I am worthy of far more and far better than that. And I don't need my stuff to fall on deaf ears. And instead, let me just hand this person over to God and let God work out all of those beautiful things. And I can send him off with love. And so I did just that. Thank you so much for your willingness. It is no longer necessary. And that was that. Now, at some point later, I also had this other epiphany where there was respect loss on that person's side. And I also know the day that I realized that I didn't really hold much respect for that person. They got the head nod. I used to would have, gone over and said hello. They just got the head nod. I ain't got time for you. So anyway, I acknowledge, and again, the epiphany of, oh, that's probably why they don't respect me or no longer respect me. And it is what it is. I stand by the choices, the actions for a bereaved family, and I have their support for what occurred, And so it, it just is what it is. Not sorry, not sorry. But I get it. And it's okay. So, yeah, so anyway, it was such a relief. Man, it was such a relief. And then even there was this other thing that happened where I had my notes with me and something was going on between me and this other person. And it was, it was like 5 minutes ago. Like, so in the moment, it was 5 minutes ago. And I am like thinking about the thing that transpired, but I'm like, wait a second, that's the past, that's the history. And I am in the now, the gift, and I was able to just like wipe it clear, and it was life-giving. It was so amazing. Now, I am not always there. I'm not always that, but I intend to get back there. So meditation, right? This whole thing I said was going to be about meditation. So there's this cool meditation called Changing Boxes that Dr. Joe Dispenza does. Oh, also, by the way, drjoedispenza.com. Let me tell you what I recommend. I do recommend his books, Becoming Supernatural. So good. You can do it on Audible. Also, You Are the Placebo. Okay, remember, your thoughts create reality. Oh, so let me tell you about You Are the Placebo. Oh man, my kid's done. Oh man. So do I stop it or do I pause it? Okay, he might just stay in there with his friends for a bit. So do I talk about You Are the Placebo? Or do I close it out on the meditation thing? Okay, so you can buy his meditations. Now I will tell you some of them he speaks like this. The space between. And it's intentional, though. It is absolutely intentional because it's not about you. It's about getting you out of your you. All right? Out of your whatever. He also has this other book. What is it? Oh, man, here he is. Hey. What is the book? Oh, my gosh, what is the book? Stop Being Yourself. It's not that. It's oh man. Okay, my son's just getting into the car.
What the heck?
Hold on.
What the hecky?
I am doing a podcast episode right now.
Are we leaving?
Hold on. Let me turn on the car. Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Wait, I'm gonna go buy something, actually.
Go buy something, baby. Books. Nope, not retreats.
I dropped my AirPods on the car.
All right. Oh my God. All right, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Now, I didn't like the title of this book before because it could be kind of offensive, but I totally get it now. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Okay? That's what that book is. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, because you have these patterns, like you get up, you stretch, you use the bathroom, you get your coffee, you go to work, you do the same old stuff 95% of the time, and nothing changes, so anyway, it's like about that. Okay, so You Are the Placebo. While he's buying something, how long is he gonna be? Okay, You're the Placebo. You have a study, 100 people, 50 of them have the placebo, the sugar pill. 50 of them have the real drug, right? Interferon or whatever it is. Okay, double blind. Nobody knows who's got what. But what they say is, what they say is, whoever has the real drug, they're going to experience headaches. They're going to experience mood swings. They're going to experience whatever it is, right? And then you'll know that you have the medicine, the real medicine. And so everyone who's taking it hopes that they have it, right? I'm just gonna stop it. You ready to go home?
Yep, I'm ready to go home.
All right, I'm gonna stop in this, y'all. Okay, so hopefully I'm in the right spot. I should be. Hopefully not, and I'm not recording over. There we go. I'm not recording over the previous stuff. Okay, so we just got home. And I was telling you about the placebo effect. Okay, so we've set the stage. 100 people, 50 have the placebo, 50 have the real thing. Everybody has been told what the symptoms that they can expect will be: nausea, vomiting, mood swings, headaches, right? And so then everybody wants the real drug, the real medicine, because then they'll be healed. And so everybody is hoping for the side effects. Okay? So they're communicating through their desire, through their elevated emotional state, to be nauseous, to have a headache. And their body says, okay, all right, you want a headache? Boom, here you go. Oh, you want some nausea? Boom, here you go. And so at the end of the study, the percentage of people, so half, 50% of the people who had the real drug, a significant amount of them got better. Not everybody, got the better results, but a significant amount of the people who literally had the real drug had improvement. Guess what? Of the 50%, the half of the people who got the placebo, a considerable amount of people had positive results, healed, right? Because their body began to produce the very thing that it needed in order to heal. Because of the signaling of their brain through their thoughts and through that elevated state. And so we can work ourselves up to be miserable and afraid and all of the things. And that has a particular vibration. And so when you're sad, when you're depressed, when you're feeling like you are unworthy and you're asking questions like, what is wrong with ME? I don't want to say it because I don't want to ask myself that question. It has a vibration, and the only thing that can match and partner with that is the same vibration. And then you begin to receive the evidence of all of the things that are wrong with you, and then you get more depressed, and then etc., etc. But when you change how you speak to yourself, when you decide, when you choose, and sometimes that choice means you have to get up, you have to crawl out of that bed, or you have to stand up from your chair, or you have to walk outside, or you have to do some jumping jacks, or touch your toes, or dance, have a dance party. You have to change your physiology, okay? And you can ask yourself, how can my day get better? Or the thing that I start saying is, everything works in my favor. Like even the bad stuff, I promise you, worked in my favor. It worked on my favor to have that walk to Blockbuster Video to get that movie with Claudette from my last episode, right? It worked out that when my son and I were abandoned, it worked out. I promise you it worked out. It worked out for all parties. It worked out for me the most, I believe. I truly do believe. Because, man, I got a good man who loves me and chooses me. He chooses me as he should, because I am his wife and I am his greatest good. That's from Incredibles. What's his name? Iceman? I don't know what his name is. It's not Icebreaker. Frozone. Yes, it's Frozone. And so he's supposed to have dinner with his wife, and he's like, "Where's my super suit?" She's like, "What do you mean? Where is my super suit?" Um, and she's like, dodging the question, and because they have dinner plans, and he's supposed to be there, and he's like, something about the greater good, because he needs to save the world or save Metropolis or whatever city they're in. And she was like, "I am your wife. I am your greatest good." It's so good. So Jacob and I laugh about that and joke. And sometimes if he doesn't answer my call, "I am your greatest good," all caps. But yeah, man, I lucked out. Not luck. I am blessed. But also, see, the thing is, one thing is, I thought I saw a mosquito up in this car and I'm listening. Okay, it's not. I don't know. There definitely was a moth outside. Anyway, I am sure that he is also blessed. He is so blessed because he got the woman that he got, and they are living life big up, and they're experiencing things together that only they could have together. Everything worked out in his favor too. So amazing. So amazing. But so I say that everything works in my favor, even when things are like totally wackadoo. Like when our account went into the negative because we got hacked and there's like $350, just like $100 here, $100, $50, just whew. And luckily the bank, this looks like fraudulent activity. Yes it is. Oh my gosh, please reverse. Anyway, everything works. I still say it, everything works in my favor. I'm waiting. I mean, the fees were reversed, so that's good. Everything works in my favor. It's a keeper. Add it to your list. Add it to your daily mantras. I am healed. I am whole. Those are good ones. I am healed. Like, I'm already healed. My body is healing itself. I don't say that SICK word. I'm healed. My body is healing itself. Since my kids were little, your body is healing itself. Your body's a miracle. And I do give credit to God. Just FYI, I do. So grateful, man. Woo! I have a friend. She says she's God's favorite. She says she's God's favorite. I know so I do believe in God, right? I do believe in God. He is tickled by her. So, yeah. Meditation. Dr. Joe Dispenza. You can go on his website. You can buy meditations. And I was going to be recommending some things. And so one of the things that I would recommend, I'm thinking, so he's got this progressive intensive thing, which I have the old stuff. I don't think I have the new one. But he has this other thing that's called The Formula. I believe it is The Formula. It's $250. Go get it. Go watch it. Change your life. You're welcome. So there's this other meditation called Changing Boxes. And this is where I'm going to get more vulnerable. Not crying, but just vulnerable. And just like we all have our stuff, right? We all have many of us have insecurities and things like that. So there's this Changing Boxes thing that is spectacular. It is spectacular. So when you look at a timeline, past, present, future, we're looking at it linearly, right? There's this whole thing about time is not really like that. And so if you move that timeline left to right and you make it stand up on top of each other, right? And, at any given point, if you turn left on a particular road, you would still get to your destination, right? But if there was a red light and you ran it, you might get to your destination sooner or later, or maybe not at all, like if you crash, right? Or you could turn right. And if you turn right, then you have to loop around this other thing, but you'd get to your destination. But maybe when you turn right, you see a billboard there that gives you a telephone for something that's important that you need or somebody else needs. Or maybe you see your friend who'd been broken down on the side of the road and was carrying their groceries by hand, and you get to pick them up and help them, and you would have never saw them if you would have turned left, which is the way that you normally would have gone. And so all of those different timelines can exist simultaneously. The what ifs: what if you did this way? What if you didn't say that thing? What if you said this other thing? What if you apologized? What if you forgave? What if you maintained your boundaries? And so there's this whole thing about, whatever timeline you're in, there you could have some trouble, if you will, or something that's like not going your way. But there is a timeline that exists that doesn't have that trouble in it, that doesn't have that problem. Maybe where you've already overcome it. I don't know. So in the changing boxes meditation, you get yourself out of the current timeline and you pop yourself into another one. And so I have done that multiple times. And it was like so good. Like it flew like a charm. Like within minutes, I've gotten messages where the problem was solved. And you guys know this about me. I'm very optimistic, but sometimes insecurity pops up, and there's some, I don't know. Do I give myself too much credit? So like I've done that meditation and then wound up in felt like the wrong timeline, and folks around me, important people, were acting crazy. And then I stopped doing the meditations. I stopped because I was like, oh no, I messed up and I can't ever do it again. Which is silly. That's bonkers. And yet, gosh. And so I've that happened. And it wasn't this year. It's like before this year. So was it last year or was it the year before? I don't know. But I stopped doing them changing boxes meditation because I didn't want to make it worse. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about the people who don't get it, who don't understand, who think I am wackadoo crazy. Oh, so I've been scared. I have been scared to do it because I don't need to get in the wrong timeline and have the people around me acting, no. And I'm in a really good space, actually. And maybe I'm weaving in and out of, I don't know. I'm in a really good space. And I've got some great things coming up. And I'm excited. And so, yeah, so everything works in my favor. So I'm just saying that. And, let go, let God. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. So meditations is great. It's good just to get yourself centered. And there's a meditation that I also recommend that you can find on YouTube. It's called Go Love. And I feel like it has 25 in it, which seems odd. Because I don't know what the 25 is. I'm thinking 2025, but it doesn't matter. Golove, Golove. If you put that in YouTube, you will find it. There's a pink background with the heart. It's a really incredible meditation. It's great to do it for a loved one. I think it's an incredible piece even to do for yourself. So I've encouraged people to do that. Well, I've got 3,000 bars on this thing. So it is time to surrender the microphone. This is my longest one yet. Again, I'm Melinda, your host at Unapologetically Yours. I'm not here to be perfect, far from it, but I am here to be present with you, to speak, to heal, and maybe, just maybe, to set someone else free. Until next time, Unapologetically Yours. Bye, y'all.